So I've recently been thinking about the concept of what the perfect camera might be and how this sort of eternal pursuit for the perfect piece of gear might affect the photographer and the artist. And I thought to myself, I should make a video about this. We're constantly being bombarded with a bunch of camera announcements and camera rumors, and although it's incredible that camera technology keeps evolving in 2025, at the same time I feel like we've hit a plateau in terms of actual new features that get released with newer cameras, and I think the consensus in the photo community seems to be the same as mine. There's the odd camera that comes out and breaks some kind of like ground in regards to a stupid amount of megapixels. And then there's actually cool cameras like the Fujifilm GFX 100 RF, which is a medium format camera that is actually a rangefinder. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I think this constant release of new gear puts unnecessary pressure on photographers and artists, and it can actually hinder your creativity. And this actually happened to me before a few years ago, where I've developed a sort of like hate relationship with my camera at the time, which I loved shooting with, just because I felt that it was completely obsolete and my photography all of a sudden turned into pure garbage, just because the camera itself was behind on like 2 or 3 generations at the time. And it still produces amazing results to date, but I got into this really toxic mindset and it's definitely affected my creativity and my photography process for quite a long time, which is a shame. Don't get me wrong, I'm always on top of new camera announcements and rumors, and I would love to try out a bunch of new gear that has been recently released onto the market. However, I have now owned my digital camera, the Fujifilm X-T4, which I'm, by the way, using to record this video right now, and I've used it in all possible weather conditions and all possible light conditions as well. I've shot a bunch of photos with it, I've shot a ton of video with it, and I know exactly what to expect from the camera. I know exactly which settings to use. I'm quite familiarized with the output that I'm gonna get in regards to photos and video, and to me, if I had to define what the perfect camera is, honestly, as an hybrid shooter that does both photography and shoots YouTube videos, this would be the perfect camera for me, honestly. If I had to grab a second camera, it would be the Fujifilm X-H2S, which has also been released in 2022 at this point, which makes it like 3 years old. And I would grab it just because I think there would be not like an improvement, because I'm only doing YouTube videos, right? The X-T4 shoots f-log and the X-H2S shoots f-log 2. And it also has something like a feature that really sparks my curiosity, which is 6K open gates in 3x2, and I would love to give it a go, and I can emulate it with my camera, but it's not gonna be like open gate 6K resolution, and I would probably get one at some point, but again, it's not urgent. But yeah, that would be a cool second body to get. If you look at my example as well on the film photography side of things, I do shoot medium format, but I've just recently made a video about my only medium format camera that I own, which is the Bronica ETRS, and shoots 645 frames. And sure, I never wanted to spend a lot of money on a new camera, so that could be considered a limitation in itself. But at the same time, I would love to try out a Pentax 6.7, a Mamiya RB or RZ6.7, and the results would be much better than the ones that I get with my Mamiya, which shoots a smaller frame size, and the lenses aren't nearly as good as the ones that came out for the Mamiyas. However, 645 is more than enough for the results that I want to achieve. It's more than enough to use in my own personal portfolio, on a website, on YouTube, post on social media. I've actually made some rather large prints from these negatives, and there's no limitations. And I also have a couple of cheap point and shoots. I have a couple of Canon SLR film cameras, obviously from the late 90s, and I'm able to get such nice results using these cheap cameras. And what I'm trying to say with this is we should try and apply the same mindset that we have regarding film photography to our digital photography, because film photography is now an obsolete medium despite its recent rise in popularity again. As a whole, the world has transitioned to digital photography in the early 2000s, and we know that these cameras won't last forever. They're always like slowly degrading, and apart from like the odds new camera release like the Pentax 17 and the new Leica M6 and these half frame cameras, whatever, we're not flooded nearly the same way as we are in regards to digital cameras and lenses, right? And if you think about it, we don't care that much about buying expensive gear, right? We literally just want to get like a camera that gets the results that we're after, that's easy to use and intuitive, and we're not actually chasing like a price tag, unless you've got a shit ton of money to spend and just want to flex. We're a lot more demanding with our digital gear than we are with our film gear, and we know that when we're using a film camera, the camera in itself, apart from the format obviously, but like let's think in 35mm for now. We know that it's going to come down to obviously camera features like shutter speed, but it's going to come down to mainly the lens that you use, how sharp it is, and the film stock that you're using, right? And I think we should try and switch our mentality to the same that we use in regards to our approach to film photography, and just try and ease off the pressure that's put onto us with all of these announcements and releases. Again, I wasn't sure on how to structure this video, but this idea of the perfect camera has been popping on my mind for so long now that I just decided to try and put it on a video and start a conversation with you, because I'm hoping that this gives you some food for thought, and in case you've been on the fence of possibly upgrading your gear, or like you don't know if you should do it right now or if you should wait a bit more, like hopefully it's gonna make you decide on what's best for you. And the most important thing regarding you upgrading your gear or not is ensuring that the gear that you currently have isn't hindering your creative process and your progression as an artist. Please let me know in the comments if you like this type of video. I know the topic, like the video itself, hasn't been that polished, but again, I just wanted to share and put my opinion out there, and yeah, let me know your thoughts about what the perfect camera is or might be, and let's start the conversation in the comment section. Please leave a like if you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.